Hi, everybody. Welcome to your energy check-in for the month of June 2020. Um, Guys, as I'm looking at these cards, I actually sat down to make a monthly video, but as I'm looking at these cards and feeling them, it seems more like Spirit is coming through with a channeling about the United States. So we're just going to run with it, see what comes up. Of course, if you'd like a personal reading, you can check the description box below. And I have different readings at different prices and for many different themes. So check me out if you're interested. All right, so let's jump in. So, like I said, this reading looks like it's basically a commentary on the United States at this time. I see a lot of messengers in motion, a lot of mobilization. I'm seeing a lot of cleansing as well. So let's take a look. Let's start here. Okay. So as I'm looking into the middle of this situation, it looks like all of a sudden this is a rocket ship. And it's almost like the United States is this rocket ship. And it's like this collective lifting up, if you will. But it's interesting because as this lifting up is occurring, we have this purging occurring as well with this card in the middle. At the top, we actually have this alchemical mutation, which is literally speaking to the movement of energy. It could encapsulate energetic codes, DNA repair, DNA activations, energy healing, right? Whatever it is. The implanting of, I almost said memories. Yeah, the implanting of memories. Let's go with it, right? Let's go with what they're saying. And it's almost like this is the plan at a higher level. And where he's planting this little plant down here, it's siphoning down into the physical. And we see this purging. We all know what's going on right now with the riots and the looting and the injustices and all of that. Well, I'm just seeing it's almost like this is all here, and it's just this purging. It's like this exhalation. It's just like this moment where many people, regardless of what their story is and what they're doing, whether they're partaking in protests, whether they're partaking in rioting, whether they're partaking in looting, whether they're partaking in conversations, whether they're participating in blogs, whatever it is that people are doing, a lot of people are having an opportunity to have an outlet. So they're using these what are they saying? I'm hearing them say rampant ramifications. Yeah, there are going to be rampant ramifications for what's going on, of course. So people need to think about that on the individual level. Always remember what other people do is their karma, but what you do, my dear, is your karma. I'm just going to say that. Leave that there. Leave it right there on the table. But that being said, a lot of people are using this time and a lot of the things that are going on as a way to purge themselves and to release their own frustrations and to act out on whatever their frustrations are. But at the bottom of the bottom here, I do see a victory. So who is this victory going to be for? As I was saying, the victory is going to be for many people and for many reasons, because as much as we may see people moving as a block, moving as a group in the physical, you could have 30 different people congregating and doing the same thing, but they're doing it for 30 different reasons. And at the end of the day, to our human eyes, we can only assess what's happening in the physical. They're all doing this, but to God's eyes and to those who have an awakened third eye, they see that actually the reasons are different. And some of those reasons have, I would say, some justification, and the rest do not. So I'll leave that up to you guys to make that discernment, but that's what's coming through right here. So that's why me, as the reader, because you guys know I am channeling, but as the reader, I'm just stepping in to say, remember, you can be part of something, whether it's in your living room or out there on the streets, but what you end up doing with your own 24 hours of the day and with your own hands and your own mouths and your own legs and your own money and all of that is your karma, and everybody else's is their own. So just keep that in mind. But they're coming through with that message of a conscious, an American, collective American rising up. So purging, so to speak, and collective consciousness uplifting for a lot of people, because some people are not part of that scene energetically. Maybe they're in peace right now, regardless of their race, class, gender, and all of that, and some aren't, regardless of their race, class, gender. And so that's the realm of a personal reading for each person embroiled in that. But let's see what else they're saying. Yeah, I'm seeing here that this is all about teaching the United States a lesson. Spirit is coming through saying this is all about teaching the United States a lesson as a collective, okay? But again, at the individual level as well. So this is a moment in time where not everybody is participating, because not everybody necessarily has a lesson to learn as actively as some people do. Whatever their people's souls have chosen to do at this time, they're acting it out now, whether they're on their couch or they're on the streets. But there's also this collective consciousness, and the United States is learning a lesson, Spirit is saying, in terms of bravery as well, taking lessons in bravery. It's weird. I gotta be honest, guys. You know, I just report what I'm seeing, but I'm seeing here, I'm just seeing some people speaking negative words over the United States right now and what's happening, and it seems a little bit of in line with a black magic kind of look. I mean, look, after doing this job for so long, and we see all sorts of things come across our desks, so I'm not surprised, but I just see that as something that's happening. I don't know who those people are and what they're for, what their organizations are. I'm sure I could feel into it, but I don't really know what the purpose of doing that would be for this channel today. But I do see that there are some people out there who are riding that low wave, and they're riding WRITING certain things into existence and certain things out of existence. Now, I will explain that. What that means is sometimes when people are trying to divine and create certain realities on the earth, what they try to do is they try to create a certain consciousness, and of course they're talking about moving energy, right? And a lot of times that energetic movement goes into what we would consider black magic to promote certain agendas. And what I'm seeing here is that the idea is to write out of existence certain things that would be positive and speak to positive movement, which may well take us away from certain money-making ventures like pharmacology, agribusiness, things like that, which would change the landscape to bringing more empowerment into the hands of the people. And so if you write those things out of existence, then it requires people to still be reliant upon these major pillars of society. But what I'm also seeing is this writing things into existence. This is creating agendas. This is the act of creating separation and division. And if you've been watching the news and tapping into certain stories and whatnot that you may find online, you may see some people talking about random strangers, random people coming in and just creating havoc and then leaving as quickly as they came in and staging things and whatever. That would be that group that I'm seeing here. So there's a mishmash, whatever. There's a hodgepodge of a lot of hands in this situation. And that's why I'm saying that what you do is your karma, and what other people do is their karma at the end of the day. And people are all coming together out of different motivations and creating. But there are some people who are moving purely on emotion. They're frustrated, they're popping off, and they're not thinking. And then there are some who are very purposefully creating conditions. So that's why, I mean, it's interesting that Spirit would come through. I actually sat down to do the Pisces reading for the month of June. But okay, sorry, Pisces, I guess you're going to have to wait. So it's interesting that they are bringing this information through today for us. So if you're watching, then maybe you need to hear this. So Yeah, or maybe you just want to understand what's happening. That's what's happening right now. There are a lot of people coming together for different reasons. And unfortunately, if you're not using your spirit eyes, you won't be able to see a lot of that. Um, let's see what else. But God is saying that He never wastes opportunities. So what is coming to pass, all the mayhem and the whatnot, can still be salvaged. There are certain things that can still be used to progress society, to teach lessons, to, help us turn a corner, to raise people's consciousness. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people who are ever on the fence about something, when they see certain behaviors and some things happen, that can shift them right away, and it can help them make up their mind for the better. And that can change a person's understanding. So, as negative as something may appear, and it really is, it can help to shore up somebody else's opinion and move them towards the light. So, God is saying that we don't waste food in this house. Basically, I paraphrased that part. um, God is saying there's not enough gratitude during this time, number one, but also there's not enough gratification during this time. And so you can imagine how when you don't have enough gratification, satisfaction, emotional fulfillment, of course, sometimes we tend to not be able to see where we are also lapsing in gratitude, because gratitude is the kind of emotion that cuts everything. Yeah, I don't have this, but at least I have this. Thank you, God, because I know that the person down the street doesn't even have that. And so I want to thank you, God, for what I do have, and I want to focus on what I do have as opposed to what I do not have. And so Spirit is saying to up the gratitude, and they're saying that it's medicine, it's holy medicine, and to treat it like a root medicine. So it's like have your daily dose of gratitude, because that's, how root medicine is so potent. It's so potent. It hurts. It doesn't taste good. It's kind of like, but gratitude tastes good. But he's saying it's very strong medicine, energetic medicine. So work it. And yeah, that's the way that you can stay grounded. You can stay on the up and up. You can stay in your integrity. You can stay content. You can stay connected, right? Because this is the time of Corona, and as we know, Corona energetically has been about opening up the crown chakra and creating a mass consciousness, an increase in mass consciousness, an increased mass. Oh, what? How can I talk? Anyway, a rising up of the masses in consciousness around the world. And what's happening is, as these energies, these higher frequency energies are coming to the earth, what you're seeing is it hitting people. And sometimes when the glare is so bright, it triggers the shadows. It triggers the shadow inside. It starts to come up for healing. And so a lot of around the world, when you see these skirmishes and these things, that's literally the bubbling up of shadow energy that is coming up in response to the light, that is coming up to be healed. All right. So Spirit is also saying, in addition to taking your medicine, having your gratitude every day, having that daily dose, saying thank you, and also allowing God to come into the crown chakra and to watch what you're saying, watch what you're doing, watch what you're being about, right? Even choosing what you're choosing to watch on TV. They're saying, in addition to that, to make sure you put your shields up, make sure you have your energetic protection in place every day, because we are living in a world where we are, a lot of us are very empathic. And so that time you may be feeling affected by a lot of things. You may feel sluggish, you may feel stressful, you may feel frustrated, you may feel whatever, but you may not actually be picking up on your own energy, and you don't even know it. It could be from your neighbors next door. It could be from the world around you. It could be anything. It just could be from your TV. Literally, when you have your TV open to certain things, fear energy is coming out, and it's literally just leaking straight into your home. So you have to make sure that you have your spiritual protection. Burn your sage if you need to. Do your house cleansing. Keep a routine for yourself. So what's an example of keeping a routine for yourself? It can be crazy outside of your house, but on the inside, you maintain your microcosm of a schedule. So for example, every Saturday you can make sure that you sweep out your apartment, your home, that you burn your incense, that you say your prayers, you wash your laundry, you do your sheets, you make sure the dishes are clean, you wash your hair, all of this, and you can keep that up on a weekly basis. And what you're actually doing is you're creating the conditions for cleanliness energetically and physically within your household. And when you say your prayers and you protect your household as well, what you're doing, and also your businesses, what you're doing is that you're keeping out the negativity that is running rampant in the streets. And so I'm just saying, energetically, it's time that people start to learn how to work their vessel on an energetic level. Because we all know, you lock your doors at home, right? Lock your doors. But a lot of people leave their doors wide open in the energetic, Come on, what are we doing? And so Spirit is coming through with some information about that. Spirit is saying that it's wonderful to be alive at this time. I know a lot of people would disagree, but remember, when you take your spiritual eyes and you look at the world, you realize that there are many, many, many souls that have signed up to be here. They've fought to be here. They've applied to be here on earth at this time. That's what people want. They want to be here as souls so they can take advantage of the choices that are on earth, of the experiences. The soul lives for experiences. The spirit at this consciousness, like us having this conversation, we live for comfort. We want comfort. We don't want pain. We want love. We want this and that. But the soul wants expansion and experience. And so earth is a very, very, very hot commodity. Earth is a hot spot. Everybody and their mother in the universe wants to come to earth because they want to experience the cray-crayness that's going on here in any given decade on any given part of this planet. And so right now you can see there have just been so many people over the last few decades who have been mobilized to be here at this time. So Spirit is saying, taking that into consideration, make sure that you continue to remember you're here for a reason. As much as it hurts, you're here for a reason. Stay focused on rising up and using this information that they've given you a little bit earlier to make sure that you stay connected to source energy so that you can take the best advantage of what you have. Because you have something. Look at how we have these two queens. Queen of Swords, she's all about cutting things out of her life. Yes, have that protection around you at all times, that energetic shielding, so that you don't have to put up with everybody's stuff. You're in the world, but it doesn't mean you have to suffer along with your neighbor. I know that sounds bad. I know it sounds impossible. I know it whatever, but it is not impossible, because trust me, when you're going through the worst of your life, your person next door is celebrating a birthday. They're not thinking about your dregs, and they're not feeling your reality. Everybody has their own reality. As much as we seem to be embroiled in a collective conscious reality, we are, but within that we also have our reality. Here you have the Queen of Pentacles, who knows the value of this time. So this is all about keeping your eyes on the prize. Spirit is saying, yes, it's crazy what's going on, but keep your eyes on the prize. Look at how this information that they just came through for you to give you, that's like a shelter. It's a shelter for you that's going with what's going on now. Oh, that was them saying start here. All right, so a lot of you may have been having plans. A lot of you, obviously, we know by now, we clearly wanted to make God laugh by making plans, because this whole season was like, nope, COVID season, nope, no plans. But I'm seeing here, Spirit is saying it's okay to start to open your eyes to the future. Start thinking about, what does my future look like? And Spirit is saying that I heard this quote one time, and I hope I don't mess it up, but those who have the ability to dream also have the responsibility to do so. Okay, I know I messed that up. But basically, I think I came close to the meaning. It means, hey, if you're in a position where you're not stuck at the bottom of Maslow's pyramid, where you're stuck on your base needs, where am I going to get food and shelter, then you have a chance to dream, right? And so if you have a chance to dream, it should be your responsibility to start to put those dreams out there. Anytime you have a dream, and anytime you have a vision, and you visualize things, and you put out your desires and your goals and all of that, you're actively putting that out into the collective consciousness. So Spirit is saying yes, as you start to wonder about the post-COVID season, the post right season, and whatever is going on right now, what do you want your America to look like? What do you want the earth to look like? What do you want it to feel like, smell like? And they're telling me to tell you a little bit about manifestation. So I'm using the word want, but the idea of want already carries the base idea of I don't have. So when you are getting into this activity of manifesting and putting your information out there and you visualizing, I think it's best that you don't talk about I want this and I want like that and da, da, da. Instead, no, I have this, I am this, right? And on top of that, instead of just saying words, feel it. You don't even need to use words, because the universe doesn't listen to words. It doesn't speak English. The universe doesn't care about your words. It cares about the emotional vibration. It cares about your vibration and what you're giving off. And what is the biggest driver of vibration? It's emotion. Okay? It's emotion. And so if you want to manifest rain, feel the feelings of rain. And that's a very wordless and quiet exercise. But what would you be doing? You would be feeling the sensation of it falling on your shoulders, and your clothes getting wetter and wetter, your hair getting matted, your eyelashes being filled with water. You would imagine your feet sloshing around. You'd imagine seeing it on the plains in front of you, nourishing the plants. You would hear it. So take it through all of your sensations and just go for it, and just make it a full sensory experience. They're saying that they understand that it may be a little bit troubling or trying or just downright annoying and stressful to have these kinds of dreams and to manifest in this positive when you have the Nine of Swords energy on the earth and in your vicinity. That's understandable. Nine of Swords is all about sleepless nights, depression, frustration. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. A lot of people are going through their nightmares right now, but I want to let you know a lot of people are living their best life under COVID season. And I know some of you guys are like, what? But actually, to be honest, I'm sure some of you guys are like, yes. I am definitely living my best life under COVID season. And then others are like, no, I've lost people, I've lost my home, I don't have money to pay my bills. And then you've got other people who are like, wow, this is the best I've ever done. I've thrived. I've been working on my book. I've gotten closer to my family. Oh my gosh, I have time now to spend in my pool. I have time now to meditate. I've lost 50 pounds because I finally broke out that workbench. That treadmill that I've had in the garage, and now I can. So you have to understand that people are living different realities, and when you turn on the TV and you look at that, sometimes you may get it into your mind that what you see on the TV is the only reality, and that, my dears, would be the biggest mistake you could ever make in your life, because there are literally people invested in controlling the airwaves, okay? And if you don't know that by now, you must be 13 and under, and maybe this isn't the channel for you. I don't know. But even kids these days are more in tune with a lot of stuff. So my point is that you want to make sure that you are visualizing and that you're protecting your space, protecting those visions, and remembering that your reality is your reality. Don't let people tell you what your reality is, and certainly don't look at the reality of your family members or even your spouse or your child or your teacher or your boss to tell you about how you should be feeling and about how you should be looking at what you're going through. Because there are some people who may not have food on their table, but their spirits are fulfilled, and others have everything that they need right now, and they're bunkered down in their rich place, but they are lonely, and they are suffering with their relationships with family and whatnot. So you have to understand that it's not necessarily about what you have that's going to determine your happiness. This is about spiritual fulfillment. And so Spirit is saying, find a way to protect yourself so that you may have the capacity to dream right now, because the world needs it. They're also saying to take advantage of the times when you don't necessarily know where to go. I've heard this saying before: when you don't know what to do, don't do anything, right? I know some people are like, no, if I don't know what to do, I'll jump in and try one thing, and if that doesn't work, I'll try the other. Sure, maybe, but during these times, if you do that, sometimes the process that it takes you to get engaged in one of those things, and especially if it's the wrong thing after all, it could be detrimental to you. It could give you more stress. It could make you feel hopeless. It could push you into a place that you don't need to be. So sometimes Spirit is saying, don't be afraid that when you don't know what to do, to just take a rest. You don't need to do something all the time. Take a walk, go outside, take a nap. It's okay to take a nap, right? So Spirit is saying, find opportunities in between. Find opportunities in the in between, okay? I just feel like I could just say that like that, and a lot of you would already know what I mean by that sentence. Find opportunities in between, because we've been living in this in between state for quite some time, and so I'm sure a lot of you would understand that. I'm seeing mirroring here with the King of Swords, and then the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands speaks of defensive energy. The King of Swords here is coming through as the leader. So I do feel that this is a commentary on the government, the administration itself. So we're seeing this defensiveness coming from the top down. But at the same time, we're also seeing this defensiveness coming from the bottom up, not amongst everybody, but amongst a lot of people. But what I'm seeing is even this bottom up, there is a top down for somebody else, because it's almost like, look at this card, how this person is being defensive, but what are they defending against? We know what the government is feeling defensive against, the people, but what are the people feeling defensive against? And Spirit is saying this is what we need to be paying attention to on the individual level, because those are your personal shadows. What is driving you right now to get out of your place of peace? And don't say it's the president, because we all know that he got issues, okay? God bless. But that being said, and yes, the administration itself has issues, and you can point at everybody in the government and doing all these things or even our community leaders and the corporations. Everybody has issues. But at the end of the day, it is about what's going on in your house, in the inside, that can make or break your experience on the earth right now. So your neighbor could be feeling could be facing the same situation as you, not having money, barely having food, being afraid all the time, job in jeopardy, kids to feed, marriage up in shambles, whatever it is, but somehow they are finding a way to get through it. Why? Because maybe they may be using this time to go inward and look at their shadows. What's going on the inside? Where is their helplessness being triggered? What is it reminding them of? How are they dealing with it? How are they working through their fears? Or are they just going to get up and go out and act out upon the world? You don't act out to clear the inside. Yes, you may you can do your kickboxing, you can do this and that, but all of that would be doing is eliminating the symptoms of the moment. It would not be about addressing the real issue and getting in there. To address the real issue and to get in there and to really understand the source of your frustrations, you go in and you feel into yourself, how am I feeling? How old am I right now? Oh, yes, you're 32, but actually you're feeling like that 4-year-old again. And that's when you realize the 32-year-old you is not the one in control. It's the 4-year-old you that is struggling with a lack of love and a lack of security and feeling unprepared and unprotected, and so that triggers you when you see certain things. So basically, Spirit is saying you must seek your insides. You must seek to understand the insides, because once you understand the inside, that creates all the difference in how you will approach, how you will view, and how you will approach your outsides. And that, my dear, will make the difference between you smashing somebody else's business and you starting to create art or starting to peacefully protest or something. Because there are arguments to and for this looting and the rioting and blah blah blah, but at the end of the day, and this is a personal opinion, I understand that sometimes there's a spark and you just go off, right? But if you're really saying that it's about justice, I don't buy it, because you know what, when you're burning down a big building like Target, you're thinking that your target are the authorities and the people who are making money, the fat cats making money from Target and blah 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 and all that. Yeah, that's your justification for burning a building down. And then I don't know what the justification is for going in there and stealing, but that's something else. But what you're not seeing is that many people just like you have now been put out of a home. You never know who now just lost their job at that Target. Now they have no income to feed the kids because the store is damaged, they can't work. So where's the money going to come to feed their kids during COVID season? Maybe they have somebody they're taking care of at home. Maybe they were the only breadwinner and now they have nothing. And guess what? That was probably the money that they needed to help them pay their rent or their mortgage. And guess what? Now, on top of not having a job, that means they may not have access to a lot of supplies that their family needs for the month. They may not even have money to pay their bills, and now they may be homeless soon. So you have to understand that when people are acting out and they're not paying attention to what's going on the inside, and the frustration hits them and they're out there like that, they're actually creating hardships for a lot of people. And there are a lot of people now who are getting hurt because they're caught up in the frustrations of other people. And so this is not a person, I mean, I'm not trying to tell people how to live their lives, but the energy that's coming through today is trying to get people to take a different approach to how the energies are flowing in the United States right now. This is about knowing that as much as you feel that you can't control things, you can control yourself by going inward into you and understanding, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body? Why is this happening? Sit, meditate, get quiet, do whatever you need to do and focus on that so you can understand and become better at managing your own emotions. That will make you much less, susceptible to being triggered and then going out there and creating negative karmic situations for yourself and for other people. All right. So what I'm seeing here is this rash energy as represented by the Knight of Wands. I'm seeing a lot of ego wrapped up in the horse's face right there. He's like, that's right. I'm this horse, and he's got this mask on. So the horse is hiding behind it. So they're saying that, see this Eight of Cups walking away. Don't be afraid to walk away from that kind of energy. And it's falling right underneath the grounding. Again, you have to think for yourself. Get grounded. And when you see people moving with a certain energy, you no need to get involved. And there's more than one way to crack an egg. So if, for example, you want to create change in a way, it doesn't mean you just have to go and follow what everybody else is doing and to just let yourself go. You sit and you go inward. It's always going to be about going inward. And you think about, how is the best way for me as an individual with my unique talents to be of service. And now they're pointing to this card, the reassurance of the golden light. What is she doing? She's connecting. You connect first and then you go outward. That's how it has to be. You cannot just go outward without going inward, because then you'll just fall for everything. You're just going to go with everything, and next thing you're smashing cars, you're getting caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's just, you're popping off, you're saying things online, and you never know what your energy from that confused state is putting in motion in the world. So Spirit is coming through today to kind of get people to think, go inwards and think from that space. Let's see. This is some good news. So they're showing that right now, again, the United States is working on some heavy things. Again, not everybody is living that reality right now. Some people are not even watching the news. Some people are holed up, writing their masterpiece that's going to be published when things get better, working on the car that they've always wanted to reassemble, right? People are engaging with themselves, but some people are plugged into what's going on right now, and maybe that's where their lessons lie. But Spirit is saying things are being worked on in the States, but we do see that it's going to be coming to a conclusion. Obviously, at some point, we can't be fighting forever. But I'm seeing this Six of Swords moving on to better times. I do see that this moving on is going to be a begrudging one. It's going to be a begrudging one in the sense of, yes, control will be brought back, control will be gotten back again by the government, but and it will quell the protest and quell the whatever. But not everybody obviously is going to be happy about this. And you know what? I understand, because we really need change in this country. But I'm seeing that it's almost like it's going to be enough of a fizzling out, or I don't know how it's actually going to temper down, but enough for the country to start moving on into another lesson, into something else. And it could, because look at this, we have two walking aways. So there's going to be some distance, but I think this was like a firecracker that is getting a lot of people collectively and individually to have something to chew on, and then come back home and to work on it, to work on themselves, like ask themselves what happened, how did I feel about that, why did I do that, why did the world do this, what blah 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 blah. And so it's almost like people are going to have this flare up, and then they're going to go back to their respective corners and have something to work on. Now I do see this 10 of wands, so I'm seeing that as things are put away, there's going to be a little bit of a victory for everybody. The victory for the government, in the sense that, well, they're going to hear us loud and clear. That's the first thing. And so they'll have a better idea of what it is that the people want. That's clear, and that's beautiful. That's a good thing. And they're also going to be able to have, I guess, a little bit more peace once the uprisings are able to be quelled and addressed and whatnot. And I guess they can continue on working on whatever it is that they're working on, instead of needing to put out literally fires all over the place. But also for the protesters, I'm seeing that there will have been some victory there as well. People who were really there for wanting to put justice out there, they've put this now on the agenda for the country. This is something that is going to be talked about for some time. And it's going to be, I really feel, once we're out of COVID season, it's going to be taken up by intellectuals around the country. And they are going to take it, and they're going to move it to an arena where it can be discussed and it can be addressed in a more fitting format. They're going to take it out of the streets, and it's going to be addressed, and we're going to have really great minds on it, educated minds who know history, who understand life, who can do, what's the word? Comparative studies from other countries, other nations. They can really put some intellect behind it, and they can really, really bring a lot of justice to things that have been going on. And that is a very healthy way to move through something, not to go and break a window. But this is going to come after COVID season is done. I also see that a lot of religious institutions are going to, the ones on the ground, are going to really start to shift a little bit as well, to accommodate the new needs of people who are going to be very frustrated, very confused, very concerned, very a lot of people depressed, a lot of people just needing guidance. So there's going to be more catering to the spirit, is what I'm hearing, and that's going to be a great thing, because that's what it should always be about. It shouldn't just be about sitting and hearing some guy talk about scripture. Like, it should be about the spirit, going inward, catering to the spirit. And I feel that they're going to be doing that. You know what I'm feeling just overall? It's going to be, after COVID season, it's going to be an age where people are like, do better to the community leaders, do better to the government. And I don't know if the government's going to do better personally, but I do feel a lot of community leaders will do their best to do better. And I do feel that there are going to be a lot of young politicians coming up out of this who will want to do better. And hopefully they can hold that light as they enter into the political arena in the future. Because, there's something about that political arena that it just ain't light, y'all. It just ain't light. And the lights flicker and go out sometimes when you go into institutions. But I'm also seeing that the medical community is going to be working. They're going to be working 9 to 5, not 9 to 5, more than that, doing their thing. They've got a lot to keep them busy. I think the artisan community is going to be flourishing with the music, with the art and all sorts of expression. A lot of beautiful things are being given birth to, ideas also giving birth to during COVID season, because people finally have time to rest in many ways. They have time to rest, the distractions are gone for the most part, and they can start to explore themselves. And when we explore ourselves, only good things can come from that. And so I'm just really looking forward to seeing how the artisan community and how the expression community changes after we are done with this whole quarantine. So we're seeing a lot of changes coming. And like I said, there's going to be victories on all sorts of fronts. I do see that there are still going to be, I'm particularly in, and now I'm doing predictions. Okay. I do see that in the realm of, for example, agribusiness, I would like to see that having more oversight, because I feel like that is going to be still, there's still going to be a division between the farmers and the companies that are trying to run these big farms and trying to control the crops basically. And so I wish that I could say I am picking up on a breakthrough there, but I'm not getting that per se. So I would love to see that. But I guess how we can counter that as consumers is that we could start to educate ourselves about how to eat better. And because once we know that, we're in a better position to demand better food, and we can patronize companies that sell us foods that we like, and that will get where the money goes is where the companies go. So if consumers show these big companies that they want good food and quality food and variety and natural and organic and non-GMO and all of that, then trust me, they will try to meet us there. But anyway, that's what I'm seeing there. I do feel that we're definitely entering into, continuing in an age of the pharmaceuticals. And now they have the perfect excuse to create more and more and more vaccines and more stuff, and for whatever. And so we're going to have to watch that. I mean, we can't allow that arena to just go carte blanche. So we have to become more savvy when it comes to what's going into our bodies. But we know that, right? So anyway, guys, this is what Spirit is choosing to bring through. I was actually going to do a monthly reading, but they wanted to make a commentary on the state of America at this time. So, I guess that's it. I have no comments on that because it's purely channeled. I have no opinion. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, if you'd like a personal reading with me, you'll know where to find my information. It's in the box below, the description box. Until then, make sure that you go inward, focus on yourself, and from that place you can give out to the world. And remember, your karma is your own, and other people's karma is their own. Okay, bye.